Marhaba.
Welcome back
To Islamic preacher and apologist. A very big hello and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you all. Now let's get to it. Welcome to my video Farid Responds Finally Responds. I'm re-uploading this video because previous time when I uploaded the video it was not understood correctly, so I have modified it. Recently I created a video called Challenging Farid Responds in which I actually placed a challenge. Now in this video there are timestamps for those people that want to be on track. Now the purpose behind that video was two. One was to break stereotypes, labels that are imposed on different scholars, which he has responded to. The other argument was actually a challenge. Now, well, we have 2 months for that. Now, the things that Shabir Ali says is mainly he means that it's not applicable in the place in which he actually lives in. 50% of what Shabir Ali says is dependent on from where he is located at. Maulana Tariq Jamil once said something very interesting, that our religion is beautiful provided that we know what the Sharia is. In Urdu, Hamara mazhab khubsurat hai, magar Shariat ka malum ho. On this particular video, Farid Responds tells us why exactly he gave those titles to these scholars. Just before I respond to this video, I'd like to make clear that I don't have any vendetta with Farid Responds, but there are some things that need to be addressed. Let me first begin by showing you a clipping. The clipping is based on what the Sharia is, and correct him if he is wrong.
Their implementation in modern societies varies from country to country. Today, this has changed in a number of ways. In nations where Muslims are minorities, such as the United States, Muslim scholars emphasize that the Sharia makes it obligatory for Muslims to follow the secular laws of the lands where they live. In many Muslim majority countries, it is now the state alone, and not scholars who specialize in the Sharia, that decides what will be enforced in courts. And the state's rules are completely divorced from the sophisticated methods and culture of traditional scholars.
In the Western world, the Sharia law is implemented differently to the Middle Eastern world. Let's suppose a woman wants khula from her husband. In the UK, it would take somewhere around at least 2 years, to maximum say around 5 years. Why is it such? Is because in the UK, the Sharia Council does not grant khula until a woman is legally cleared off. Whereas in Muslim countries, there is around a 3 months waiting period. Here is a video, it's called UK Muslims Demand Laws on Islam. The way in which this can change if, for example, one famous being, a Muslim that actually cares, could start a petition. If that petition gets 100,000 signatures, it will be considered for debate in Parliament. Now, for your information, adultery is not a criminal offence, according to the UK law. At the moment, in Speaker's Corner, there is no Muslim Dawah team member that brings politics in Speaker's Corner. Ali Dawah has more than 500,000 subscribers, and I'm sure if he tried, he can get 100,000 people to sign the petition. And unfortunately, he is not political.
How you doing? Hi, I'm ex-Muslim. Didn't ask what I'm. My name's Ali. What's your name? My name's ex-Muslim. Okay. How old are you? I'm ex-Muslim years old. How long did you study Islam, before you left it? Bro, I gave my life, bro. 10 plus years. Yeah, what's up?
Now watch this video. Some Sharia councils in Britain may be putting Muslim women at risk. Now the issue is that if a woman's divorce, legal divorce, is complicated, sometimes it can take up to 5 years for a woman to be legally separated from her husband. Now, the Sharia councils are highly dependent on the legal system, so therefore they have no other option other than to advise women to stay in these relationships. But the UK government actually tabooed Islam for being difficult on the women. Muslim people of Speaker's Corner, the Dawah team, are much more famous and popular than the non-Muslims are. they are a much more power to do something about those Sharia councils. There is another issue too regarding Muslim women wanting to get married to decent Muslims, but sometimes their parents come in the way, for example their father saying, no, you have to marry my distant relative's son. Sometimes parents force their daughters to marry within their own caste, irrespective of how the potential partner is. For example, if a girl is a Punjabi background and she finds a Gujarati, so he says, oh no, he's a Gujarati and you can't marry him, you have to marry someone Punjabi. Islam does not teach you prejudice against any caste. Now, so for example, if a woman goes to a Sharia council and says, I want to marry this fellow Muslim, my parents are forcing me to marry somebody else. The Sharia council should then actually contact the father of this girl and ask, why are you rejecting the marriage? If the father has unreasonable ground, the Sharia council should then ask the most important questions that are required and act as a wali for the girl. Now, I can understand that ex-Muslims are actually mocked at, but the main thing is this, that there are ex-Muslims that became an ex-Muslim because of poor implementation of the Sharia law. Now, in this world, honor killings happen. I would like you to watch this video, it's quite interesting. That this lady over here actually got killed because she married the person she liked. And she was killed because she started liking this person before she actually got married to him. Now, the only reason why the parents got against this marriage is because no one in their family ever in their history ever got married after actually liking someone. Now, the duty of the father was, and should have been, very straightforward and very simple. Ask this person questions. Are you interested in my daughter? How are you going to look after her? How are you going to take a responsibility? So on and so forth. Making decisions based on generalized opinions is Quranically incorrect. If you do that, you are ignoring the fundamental hidayat of the Holy Quran, which is what we got through Prophet Adam alayhi salam. And the fundamental message that we got from Prophet Adam was clearly this, that Iblis deceived Prophet Adam, who was once a very high-ranked jinn. He was above the angels in position. Prophet Adam alayhi salam made the mistake of making a decision based on generalized opinions. Early scholars helplessly expressed generalized opinions of false narrators because they could not read narrations. Modern scholars have their own helplessness. They are helpless because they are unable to change the way in which the Sharia Council operates in non-Muslim countries. Which is why I don't want to be too nitpicky with modern scholars. We should also understand their helplessness. Comments and remarks and generalization would actually affect their people's opinions of the good work that they actually have done. Where would people like us stand who actually do want to make an effort? There is a saying in my language, only the corpse knows the condition of the grave. There are places where Shabir Ali is wrong. For example, he doesn't believe in the supernatural or the paranormal, such as things like black magic and the evil eye. I can understand here he is wrong, but there are areas where he doesn't have any other option other than go in accordance to what his country has actually imposed. If, for example, somebody stole my wallet somewhere in the UK and I chopped that person's hands off, saying, well, I'm following the Sharia, would I not then be in trouble? Just because in the Middle East the law would do that for you, that wouldn't make you into a better Muslim. I understand that those laws which impose that the thief's hand should be chopped off has actually benefited the Middle East because theft doesn't really happen in the Middle East as it does in the West. And if we take, for example, law in our own hands, we would actually be causing harm to our own selves. I understand that such strict laws have benefited the society, but if you're in a different country, then it's not beneficial. And it's not beneficial then because you yourselves will face imprisonment. Let's read Surah Baqarah verse 106. For whatever verse we might abrogate or consign to oblivion, we bring a better one or the like of it. Are you not aware that Allah is all-powerful? 109. This is in response to a doubt which the Jews tried to implant in the minds of the Muslims. If both the earlier scriptures and the Quran were revelations from God, why was it, they asked, that the injunctions found in the earlier scriptures had been replaced by new ones in the Quran? How could the same God issue divergent injunctions? Furthermore, they expressed their amazement at the Quranic indictment of the Jews and Christians for having allowed part of the revelation to be forgotten and lost, pointing out that it was impossible that divine revelations should be erased from human memory. In all this, their motive was not to know the truth, but to cast doubt on the divine origin of the Quran. In refutation, God states that He, being the absolute sovereign, has unlimited authority both to abrogate previous injunctions and to cause people to forget the injunctions He wants them to forget. However, God ensures that whatever He abrogates or causes to be erased from people's memories is replaced by something equally or even more beneficial. This means that Allah Himself allowed things to be abrogated if it harmed the believer. And wouldn't it be harmful for the believer if that believer took law in his or her own hands, if that believer did not live in a believing country? So basically, a part of what Shabir Ali says is dependent on where he's staying, and a part of it is actually his own fault. We just need to just point out where he is actually wrong from his own side. Middle Eastern scholars do not understand where Western scholars are coming from. If understanding could be built, then the actual root cause of the problem could be addressed, and a solution could be found. It is also important to get rid of egos, that if we just follow the truth, it would be good. Western scholars have held on to their ego. Middle Eastern scholars have held on to their ego. We just need. Anyhow, I hope I've actually cleared off misconceptions. Thank you for watching.